Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined today by my two slightly chilled co-hosts. To my right, it is the balmy, the one and only Uncle Sam.
Good evening.
Good evening. Whoa. Good evening. And to my left, it is none other than our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Palazzolo.
Aladdin.
So you guys
Salute.
both, hold on. You got, what is this? Blue slush?
I got
on my hands and knees and search for this breezeberry.
So
I-
you're
They're two different
Breezeberry.
flavors.
I got
Blue
this
slush.
one.
I
It
have
tastes
blue
like
slush.
bad cotton candy.
Yeah, the blue slush has an odd aftertaste.
Petrified dog shit.
No.
Oh, no, we love
There's
all
no-
Lonnie News
yeah.
flavors.
There
Got
can be
me
no.
jacked, and I'm jacked up and ready to go.
Angie's already calling for the eyebrows of our producer, Bruce the
You're
Tugboat.
going to need about, 900 more still?
Do we have 100? Did we get 100 likes on it so far? Angie, listen. You need to get everybody in med school to go like the picture of Bruce's ugly face. We're only at 71.
Wow, thanks.
What?
We have 969 more likes to
I'm
go.
very disappointed in you fucking people.
And Angie's also asking for Tyreek, so who knows? Who knows? Because Uncle Sam refuses to trade now completely. He said
Oh,
he's done.
stop. What? Guys been trying to get David Montgomery from me all day. You need to fucking
Everybody's
stop.
after E.
I told you I'd give you
A guy that's
Mostert
the
straight
guy
up.
that's about to split carries with two other guys. Go ahead.
rated number 2.
Hey, you tried to give me Yahoo Smith.
Yeah, you said that about
Nobody
him last
wants-
year.
Yahoo Smith.
Johnny
Who the fuck
Smith.
is Yahoo Smith? Listen, he's more of an asset to the Atlanta Falcons right now than Bijan Robinson.
Oh, they're calling for the drill to be gone.
Because Dan met Uncle Sam before.
Dan and Uncle Sam have never met, but Dan, have you met Dan?
I don't know.
Extremely large Arabic guy.
No.
Okay. He's calling for the drill.
The only big Arabic guy I know is Nikki.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Big
Wow.
Arabic guy.
They're arch rivals, Dan and Nikki, too.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
but in a good way. They're
Listen to
brothers
me.
at
Nikki
heart.
is the sweetest kid I've ever met. He's the gentle giant.
It's because you've never been on his bad side before.
No, he's a sweet kid. He don't have it in him, dude. He don't have. Trust me, he don't.
You'd be surprised.
He don't have it in him, bud. I can read somebody really quick.
Tyler, can you
He's a
confirm if
sweet
Nikki has a
guy.
bad side, even though he is a very sweet guy?
He's a sweet guy.
Angie,
I'm a stone cold killer.
Dan,
I
anyone
will
of you?
wear your fucking face as a mask.
What the fuck?
What are you talking?
What are we doing?
about?
Anyways, how's your week been so far?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
What
I had
the fuck?
Things going on.
Yeah, what is
Huh?
going
Fucking
on?
auto
right now?
repairs. I had to go to the dentist. Got my shit cleaned. Getting ready for the surgery in January.
Oh, no.
What surgery?
I got to get a few wisdom teeth cut out, actually.
Oh, I still got them.
Do you want to go
I
together?
don't have my.
They kept telling me.
I have to get all 4 of mine out.
Yeah, but guess what? They're not putting me out.
Yeah.
You're gonna stay awake.
It's gonna
What are you,
numb me.
Christopher?
It's
They did
gonna
the
numb me.
same
They're
shit
gonna
to
We're
cut 'em
ready.
out.
We're ready.
Every play.
I don't want that shit.
I can't do. I can't be put under.
Why?
The last time I was put under was for my colonoscopy.
Oh,
That did not go well for me, dude. I feel like I come out of the fucking womb. It's not good.
so you would have rather been conscious while you were fingered in the ass by another man?
Yes.
Zolo, how's your week been so far?
It's strong, and it's over. I'm leaving town tomorrow. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shout out to Zolo, headed to LA. Angie just came into the comments and said, I saw Nikki throw a hammer at somebody before. So
I do that every day.
that's
For your information.
Or as Uncle
I
Sam
throw
would call
something
it,
at somebody
Wednesday.
every day. Huh?
Bruce, how are you today?
All right.
All right.
A little drowsy.
A little drowsy?
A little drowsy. It's cold.
Yeah, I know.
The nose is running.
Spend a night at home.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Just checking.
Oh, anyways. Should we start it off with some news? I've got a nice juicy piece.
Please.
I do nickname for Bruce is Ryan Reynolds
Wait, why is Bruce's nickname Ryan Reynolds?
because he's just friends.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Oh. Anyways,
I didn't understand.
It's a fucking joke, asshole.
I didn't even understand.
It's a movie
Yeah, I know
with
you
Ryan
did.
Reynolds.
Forget it.
We're-
He's high. You didn't get it.
I want to start out the day talking about Amu Bob. Okay?
It's our uncle.
Amu
Fortson
Bob.
High School. He's a tractor.
He was asked today why he keeps starting Zach Wilson. Okay.
Well, I think that's pretty obvious, no?
Well, he had a response that I don't think was made
Okay.
it seem very obvious.
What was his response?
You've got me. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. So,
Fordson High School for you.
where is Aaron?
Fifth. I plead the fifth. What the fuck?
Speaking of that, President Baker just entered the chat. How
There
were
he
those
is.
steaks the other day? They were absolutely delicious. I'm actually making some more tonight. I'm making some more steaks tonight.
Anyway, yeah, for
so-
fucking $60 a fucking steak.
Listen to me.
Kidding me?
If there's one thing you don't skimp out on, in this
Listen
world,
to me.
it's
I
fucking
don't
meat.
listen to me. There is no way in God's green earth that President Baker is going to pay $65 for a steak that's uncooked.
I mean, honest to God, I'd rather pay the $65 for the uncooked steak so I can cook it properly.
Okay.
Most places don't cook it properly. Jamar Chase did not practice today. Sorry. Thank you. With a back injury, and T. Higgins was limited in practice today due to a hamstring injury. So that would be
I wouldn't read anything into that. That's not a
Jamar
big
Chase.
deal. These guys got bumps and bruises from a physical game.
Jamar Chase, I'm going to read into it because they said he's got a major back issue and he's going with the motions. T. Higgins, I wouldn't read into it. And if T. Higgins plays, it doesn't. I'm inclined to believe at this point that the Bengals are going to win regardless of Jamar Chase. Am I off there?
no. I'm kind
No,
of
I
agreeing
think you're
with
pretty
you.
much.
I'm going to pick them regardless of if Jamar Chase.
Next
What are
week
they-
will be an issue.
That's Baltimore next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
The 49ers made a interesting decision today. Defensive coordinator Steve Wilks is going to be on the field for the game this week to coach. He will not be up in the box. So probably
I'm going to be honest with you. I think D coordinators should be up in the box because you're looking exactly what the offenses are doing. So I don't have an issue with that. If your defensive coordinator needs to be on the sidelines telling you shit, that's not good. That's not good to get the players in the right perspective. I don't like that. I don't like
don't?
that.
I figured you would want the coach.
No, because you want to know why then? Because then you're seeing what they're doing, and when you go in at halftime, you make the adjustments you need to make. That's all.
I mean, they got to change it up. Their problem has been their defense for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And that's their bread and butter because if that works, everything else falls into place for them. And they got to change it up. So it makes sense to me, and let's see if it yields. I know it's worked for. I think there's a few recent examples of this working on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. I know both of the Lions coordinators are on the field for whatever that's worth. So, I mean, sometimes if they're on the field, you got to send them up to the box to change things up, and if they're in the box, you got to send them down so their voice. can be
Sometimes
on the
it's
field.
good to be up in that box to get a bird's eye view of what's going on, and that's huge. As a coordinator, offensively or defensively,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I mean, I would want to be in the box and looking at what they're doing.
Especially
See
from a
what they're
defensive
scheming.
perspective, I feel
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
You know who their D coordinator was before Steve Wilks, right?
Oh,
Amu Bob.
okay.
Amu Bob. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said today about Justin Jefferson being they opened the practice window on Justin Jefferson today, but he said it would be, quote unquote, a little aggressive to think that he will play Sunday. So looks like we will go.
Listen,
another
they're
week.
doing well without him, so I wouldn't risk it if I was them. I would keep him out another week. I mean, I don't see when you're rushing somebody to bring him back. That just spells disaster. Look at Daniel Jones.
Sure.
They rushed to bring him back, and look what happened.
Casual torn
Now he's
ACL.
fucking done for the year.
done forever. Daniel
Yeah,
Jones.
probably done forever.
Done forever.
Done forever,
He's
yeah.
fucked.
Who?
Daniel Jones.
No, he's done for the year.
He's done for the year, but they're drafting a quarterback.
He's done for the year.
He's Aaron Hernandez, right? Gone forever.
Speaking of quarterback injuries, the Bears have listed Justin Fields as doubtful for Thursday night's game, and it looks like, according to people close to them, Titty Badgett will start again. Another week of Titty Badgett.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Yes.
We're all in agreement that Titty's offense flows a lot better, correct?
Titty's offense hasn't been awful.
They're in more of a groove, and I think their offensive coordinator, I have to get the exact quote, it's not in front of me, but their offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, had something to say about how the offense flows better. He didn't use those words when Titty is behind center, and they just look a lot sharper offensively with Titty. So do we think that they're just trying to prove this, or do we think that Fields actually isn't ready and needs just a teeny bit more time? What do we think here?
I
think he needs more time, and they're making basically fucking excuses.
I think that.
Wait, you think Titty needs more time?
No.
Fields needs more
I think
time.
Fields needs more time.
Got it.
I agree. I think Fields needs more time. I think he's obviously the guy when he's ready to go. I don't think they can throw in the towel
He's
on him.
undeniable what he can do physically.
They
as a
can't throw
runner.
in the towel on him yet. That's
Fields?
the problem.
I think this is the second quarterback injury in a row that we've talked about from a team that's going to be picking in the top 5, this time X2. And I don't want the Bears to take a quarterback because whoever it is going to be better than Fields, but I think the Bears and the Giants are both going to take a quarterback, even though they both have quarterbacks under contract right now. I think they're both going to take a flyer on quarterbacks. That's my bold prediction.
I think the Bears are going to take quarterback just because, as you've stated before, Fields is not their guy. They didn't draft him. They didn't. The GM didn't draft him. The coach wasn't there when he was brought in. It just, to me, it just, you know what? You're trying to fix other people's bullshit sometimes doesn't work.
Well, this is another thing that I'd like to point out here, because personally, I don't. Titty Badgett, it's another cute story, but he's obviously not the quarterback of the future there. We don't know if Justin Fields is yet, but they're also playing Carolina tomorrow night. I mean, if Titty Badgett
comes out and lights up Carolina, he's for real. I would play him the rest of the year.
I was going to say the exact opposite. It doesn't really matter how Titty Badgett comes out tomorrow night against Carolina. I mean, if Chicago realistically should have a good shot at winning that game, even with Titty Badgett.
Listen, watch out. My money time pick tomorrow is Deontay Foreman. Anytime
It's not
touchdown.
Deontay. It's Donta.
Donta, whatever.
Donta.
Don't sleep on him because guess what?
Oh,
He's going back to play the team that fucking didn't believe in him.
amen.
Can we go back to the you brought up a really great point on Fields, the it's not my guy conversation on Fields.
Yeah.
What a horrible way for things to shake out for Matt Eberfloss, to where he didn't draft Fields, he inherits Fields. Fields isn't good, and it makes the most sense from the Bears'
And
perspective.
he's been hurt. It's not like he can even prove himself.
Regardless, I
He's been
still
fucking hurt.
I think he was going to be garbage unless he landed in a really perfect situation. And who was it before him? The coordinator for the Chiefs now.
Bieniemy?
The enemy?
No. The now coordinator for the Chiefs. That was the Bears head coach.
Oh, I'm looking at his ugly face.
It was Ryan Pace who drafted him, and then I
Shit.
can't remember who the coach is now.
Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy. They're the ones that drafted Fields, and it's the same thing the Lions did when they drafted Jeff Okudah. It's a regime that's on its way out the door, and they got to take a crack at something,
Right, they're
and they didn't
cracking
make the
at
right
somebody
pick.
to try to save their job.
Exactly, and it wasn't the right pick. And if you're Matt Eberflus, you inherit this guy, and he's probably going to cost you your job. And the new guy is going to get a chance to come in,
Yeah,
and this
'cause
is why I
by
think they're
all
going to take a
rights,
quarterback.
Detroit should have had either
Tua. Don't say
Or-
Justin Herbert, because it was Tua
or
was the one
Herbert.
that made the most sense.
One of the two.
People were hung up on Herbert, but Herbert landed in a perfect situation. Talk about what it's the exact opposite of what
Now,
happened to
what
Fields.
if he was drafted here?
Herbert?
Yes, and they had got they gotten a couple of more wins, and Matt Patricia didn't get fired.
I think Herbert.
He would have struggled and
Herbert
been
was
average
Stafford.
at best.
Herbert was I agree, 100%. I don't think Herbert would have been the Herbert that we currently know
Correct.
without that 1 year of Anthony Lynn and playing with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and that loaded offense. At the time he was drafted, he had Melvin Gordon, he had Eckler.
Think about that. What
Hunter
if-
Henry was there
what if
still.
you had dropped a Jared Goff into that situation?
Agreed.
Or dropped a Brock Purdy into that situation?
Wouldn't have worked.
You would see him perform.
Wouldn't have worked.
Just because of everything around him is decent.
Yes. So whereas I think Tua would have been a long play for the Lions, and I think Tua exceeds Tua exceeds Herbert in terms of you could build a team around Tua. You could build a team around Joe Burrow. You could build a team around Mahomes. You can't really build a team around Herbert. You put him into the right situation, and he's going to let it fly. And I think that's kind of what whoever is going to come in next for Chicago is going to hope to happen, probably with Drake May or Caleb Williams. They have picks 2 and 3, pending what happens. You get May, you throw Marvin Harrison into the mix, and that's a really good combination for whoever comes in next. So, sorry, we got derailed there for a second.
That's perfectly fine. Good. That was good. That was good convo there. We have some more quarterback news, though.
Please.
The LA Rams signed a quarterback today. Carson Wentz is going to be QB1 for the Rams this weekend, it looks like. They have not named a starter yet, but I think everybody has seen enough of Brett Rippon, whatever his name is. I don't fucking.
This is if Stafford doesn't go, right?
It's everything's trending towards Stafford not playing this week.
That thumb's worse than what he's given up to be then.
So
Obviously.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
The Texans have designated cornerback Derek Stingley to return today.
Oh,
So that's a good one. And David Montgomery was a full participant in practice today for the Lions.
Hold on. Everyone except for Vaitai.
Yeah, was a full participant today.
There was one more, too. I don't know who it is off the top.
Ragnow practiced.
2 in a row.
Montgomery practiced.
Two in a row that everyone is completely full participants in practice except for Vaitai and then someone else. It's 2 in a row.
So
the
no
Lions,
excuses.
The Lions full 53 is going to be out there on Sunday, as well as the Chargers. The Chargers practice report is just Justin Herbert, who's played limited with the broken
Got
middle
the
finger.
broken middle finger on his fucking non-throwing.
So you're going to get 2 healthy teams on Sunday, and the Lions officially. Graham Glasgow is officially the right guard, and he's earned it. He's been their second best lineman the entire year, and he's played 3 different spots on the field.
Yeah, that's huge for them.
Huge,
Especially because we'll talk about in a few minutes. The Chargers didn't look awful on Monday night.
They didn't look awful, but also
They didn't really look that great.
Zach Wilson did them a lot of favors.
True.
I thought offensively
What
they
the
kind of
fuck?
did look
you know,
awful.
Zach Wilson, let me say this, and this is really fucking pissing me off about him. You know, it looks like he progresses, and then you see him, they come off a bye, and it looked like he fucking forgot how to play again. What the fuck? He's doing shit he was doing back in week 2.
I agree with you 100%. Actually, the Rams cut Brett Rippon. So it is the Carson Wentz show.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about that little mistake.
Fucking Jets need to bring a fucking quarterback in.
Well, the Giants signed a quarterback today as well. You remember Jacob Eason?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. He
Played at Syracuse?
I don't know where the fuck
Syracuse.
he played. Anyway,
Jacob Eason was Georgia.
was he a Georgia guy?
Syracuse. You're right.
Also, Ryan Tannehill has officially been moved to number 2 on the depth chart in Tennessee. Will
Big
Levis,
surprise.
quarterback 1 and the starter going forward. And I believe that's the Cardinals news. Sorry. Kyler Murray will be the starting quarterback for this weekend, and they have also designated James Conner to return off of IR. So, there
Who are they playing?
Arizona. Arizona has a huge matchup this week with Atlanta.
Interesting.
That's going to be interesting.
No, Kyler Murray going to be a handful. You know that, right?
Well, I mean, he should be. He hasn't played.
He's a fucking handful. He's a defensive coordinator nightmare.
Anyways, that's the news. Quick recap. Very quick recap of the Monday night game. And then we're going to move on to some college talk. But the Chargers headed to MetLife to play the Jets. Like we said, it was rather unimpressive from Zach Wilson. But
I
Chargers
thought the
come out on top.
Chargers defense played very well.
Chargers defense.
And they were helped out by a lot of stupid fucking plays.
I will say, the Chargers defense, again, has been banged up all year, hasn't looked all that great at times, but they played the Jets really well. And you know what? I thought the Jets defense looked kind of soft. They looked
They were on the
soft.
fucking field too long again.
That is true.
I would love to see what the time of possession defensively is for them. It's more than the offense. They're on the fucking field more than the offense is.
It's a quick Google search.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and get the time.
I guarantee you that. I guarantee you their defense is on the field longer than their offense
Just
is.
Google the game. It should be the first.
And you know what? It was the Chargers offense looked like it had a little bit of zing back into it. Eckler had a nice, decent game, and the Jets weren't able to establish the run either, which I was surprised by because I thought this was going
That
to be.
shocked me. I thought it was going to be the Brees Hall show.
So did I. I thought it was going to be a
I was
massive
just
Brees
like,
Hall
what
night.
the fuck are we doing here?
Bruce, you got it. Oh, hold on, I got it right here.
Time of possession.
The Jets actually led in time of possession somehow. 34 minutes to 25 minutes.
So there's an interesting stat on Zach Wilson. He's hanging on to the ball too long.
Yes. He did it again. He did it fucking constantly.
And he's not very efficient, but he is more than efficient when he gets the ball out of his hands in less than 3 seconds.
And it's something he's not doing again.
Yeah.
He's regressing back to where he was in week 2.
Yeah. I can agree.
I don't like that. We've seen the progression in him. You've seen him come out. You see play these other teams. The same team that beat who?
The Chargers?
No.
The Jet.
The Jets.
Who they beat?
Who did they beat?
They beat the Bills. They beat who else they beat? They beat the Giants. They beat one more team. I can't remember, or two more teams. Excuse me. I don't remember who's.
Who's the only team to beat Philadelphia?
Oh, the Jets. You're right. Excuse me.
Hello.
You're right.
They beat the best team in the NFC.
That's right. That completely slipped my
And Zach
mind.
Wilson was actually good in that game. He was getting the ball out. He was making the
serviceable.
right reads. And he fucking forgot how to play as soon as they went on a bye week.
In fairness, I was expecting a big Brees Hall game.
We all were.
Chargers D is top 10 against the run. I'll give them credit.
That's for damn sure.
I'll give them a little bit of credit on that. But if you find a way, and this is on Nathaniel Hackett, and maybe he's a bad head coach. I do think he's a good offensive mind. I thought he proved that with what he's done with Zach Wilson through this year. But they need to come up with some play designs to get their tight ends open. They got a good tight end in Conklin, and they need to come up with some slants to get the ball out of his hands quicker, because maybe you might be able to move the ball. And if he's able to get the ball out of his hands quicker, that's good for the run game. That's good for play action. It's going to open everything up.
You got a very good wide receiver there. Listen to me. You got two good running backs, Brees Hall and fucking what the fuck is his name? The kid they got from Minnesota.
Mitch McConnell.
The Jets.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook is not a bad running back.
Oh my god.
Dalvin Cook's a fucking good running
They're not
back.
using Dalvin Cook though.
What?
They're not using Dalvin.
They're not
Guy,
using
man.
either
How
one
do
of
you
them.
get
It's
your
fucking
guy?
pissing me off.
That's your dude.
Well, okay. I actually read this rumor this morning. I just found it on here again. Do you know who Zach Wilson's uncle and godfather is? His name is David
Mark Davis?
David Neeleman, who was the founder of JetBlue Airlines.
Oh, God. Here we go.
JetBlue Airlines is the official airline of the New York Jets. And Jets owner Woody Johnson and David Neeleman are best friends. So some people are speculating that Dave called Woody and said, hey, listen, you can't bench the godson.
Oh, fuck. Give me a break.
It's
dude.
it's a little bit of a reach.
You think?
That's
It's
a
a
big
bit of a
reach.
reach, yeah.
not
And Zach
buying that.
Wilson's,
there's been way
I'm not
Zach
buying it.
Wilson's
Shit to
also a
happen.
Mormon fuck, so I wouldn't buy into any. Listen, I'm not buying into that. It's business. Woody Johnson, even though I think he's in that class of owners that do too much but don't do enough at all, I think that he's still a competitor at the end of the day. And the Jets are his blood. That was his dad's team.
At least I say this about Woody Johnson. At least he's not afraid to go out there and spend money if he thinks he can win. And he's done that since he's owned the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This current regime, the current regime of Amu Bob, and their GM's name is slipping me right now, and I think he's one of the best GMs too. They know what they're doing. I think they have one of the best head coaches in football. I think when you compile everything together, what this regime has done, they've drafted well. They've done a lot well.
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas, that's his name. Bit larger, bald man.
Yep.
I think they do a lot
Did you
well.
just say a bit larger bald man?
Yeah. I think he's got a white beard, too.
His beard is turning awfully white.
Can we see that hat?
Are you actually Joe Douglas?
No.
You're not?
No.
Is that why you're such a big Jets fan? Because you're secretly Joe Douglas?
No.
Anyways, other takeaways from this game, couple quick stats from.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers can't come back fast enough.
Well, did you see him and Derwin James at midfield after the game?
Talking?
Derwin
What?
James asked him, when will you be back? And there was a camera there with a microphone to catch what he said, and he said, quote unquote, a few weeks.
He clarified on Pat McAfee's show yesterday.
Did he?
He did, yeah. He said that's unrealistic. I didn't know I was being recorded.
But is it?
Yeah, he's just saying that
Bullshit.
I think there's a scenario where he could. Listen.
If they're still in
I want
it
to see it
here,
happen.
they're still in it the next 4 weeks.
Regardless of
He's
if they're
back.
still in it. Regardless of if they're still in it, he's going to make a push to come back. He's going to do his job.
Right.
Because he has to. He can't bank on them winning games. So I think he's going to come and finish what he started. And 100%. I remember you said it that you were at the game. I remember when you came back and said, I think he's done. I don't think he's done. I think he's going to come back and try and see 1 year. I think he's going to give it 1 year. Unless he feels really good, he'll go more than that. But I think he's going to give it 1 year to see if he can get the job done there. I really believe that. I think he's only there because he wants to win, too. He's not trying to prove anything. He's not trying to prove, fuck it, I'll do it elsewhere like Tom Brady. I think he just wants to win a Super Bowl. I genuinely believe that. And I think if he didn't have Mike McCarthy and then the other asshole, LaFleur, over the last 10 years, he would have got another one. They should have. They went to so
I
many
agree
championship
with that.
games.
I agree with that. Basically, both of that fucking stoop Mike McCarthy and the other fucking kid, Matt LaFleur, whatever his fucking name is. He's a
LaFever
clown.
because he's an
He's a
infection.
clown. That guy had a fucking Super Bowl caliber team fucking just given to him. And he was unable to do anything with that. And when is he going to lose his fucking job?
I put him on the list.
Yeah.
It'll be this offseason. I feel good about that.
Overall, Zach Wilson, 33 for 49, 263 yards from that game. Breece Hall, 16 for 50. That's 3.1 yards per carry. Austin Eckler, 14 for 47 on the ground, 2 for 23 through the air. Keenan Allen, 8 for 77. Garrett Wilson, 7 for 80 and a fumble. Eckler also had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Sorry, I missed those.
Listen, I think the Chargers look beatable still.
I'm not.
I don't think this was a perfect game by any means. Good
No.
for them for slightly bucking Jets D, but when we think Chargers, we think those guys are going to go out and score.
Shootout. Correct. 40
They were still
game.
at 20 points in the fourth quarter. What was it? 27-6? Was that the final or something
It
like
was
that?
a 27-6 final. I'm not sold on the Chargers by any means.
They needed Zach Wilson to be pretty much historically bad. Not historically bad, but he was very bad. They needed Zach Wilson to be pretty bad in order to get the job done.
And he was.
And if it's a shootout, do we trust Justin Herbert right now in a shootout?
No.
He's lost so many of them. I think he's a
don't.
great quarterback. If that game was a shootout the other day, do we trust Justin Herbert?
No. I don't.
The only reason why they won that game is because of their defense. Their defense finally stood up.
But it was Zach Wilson.
But it's Zach Wilson's inept ability to get rid of the ball instead of hanging on to it and taking these atrocious sacks that he was taking.
As you can imagine, I've spent the last 8 days reading into the Chargers, and their biggest hole right now is their secondary. Their secondary is atrocious, other than Derwin James, who really isn't even... He's not having one of his best years at the moment. But their secondary is atrocious. And if you have a quarterback that's dishing the ball around to those receivers, it's probably a different game. Credit on, I think their defensive line is serviceable. Again, I know they stopped the run. And Khalil Mack is actually quietly putting together a good year. Joey Bosa is quietly putting together a good secondary year to Khalil Mack. But you're going against the Lions' offensive line next week, which is number 1 in football. It's the healthiest it's been all year. They have the best tackle tandem in football. How are you going to stop the Lions' offense next week? What is your plan to do that?
Honest to God, I don't think they have an answer for it. I don't think they
Well,
have an answer for it
here's-
defensively.
Here it is in a nutshell, and I'm just going to say this one time. David Montgomery.
Hold on. Charger run D's good.
David Montgomery.
Charger run D's top 10.
I don't give a fuck. David Montgomery.
I don't give a fuck.
I'll say this much. I've been talking about it for weeks. The third quarter problems, the red zone problems for the Lions offense have been bad.
They've been working on it for the past whole fucking week.
You're getting David Montgomery, you're getting a Jahmyr Gibbs that's on fire right now, and you're getting a healthy offensive line for the first time since week 1.
Yep.
Technically,
hopefully they can put it together.
who didn't play week 2? Didn't one of the offensive? Oh, Taylor Decker didn't play week 2. So you're getting your intended offensive line, which is Decker. It's Jonah Jackson. It's Ragnow in the middle. It's now Graham Glasgow on the right side and Penei Sewell at right tackle, who's been the best tackle in football this year. You're getting those 5 guys. So what are you going to do to stop the Lions offense? That's what I want to know.
I don't think they really have an answer for it. I mean, listen.
We'll see. Brandon Staley is a guru. We'll see.
I just see. Here's the thing, right?
Mac's been in there before.
You got to take some matchup into these games, right? I don't think the Chargers match up well against the Lions.
Hold on, Uncle Sam.
At all.
Cousin Steven says Gibbs, and he says Monty is old news. What are your thoughts on that?
Excuse me?
Cousin Steven said the word Gibbs, and then he said 4 words. He said, Monty is old news. What are your thoughts?
You need to wake up and smell the coffee, son. Wake up and smell the fucking coffee. David Montgomery is the machine that makes this team go. Period. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
I'm gonna
say what you want to say about Jahmyr Gibbs.
Here because
he is, huh?
I already know what Steven's gonna say. I think I have an idea what he's gonna say next.
Go ahead.
He's gonna say, well, the trains ran fine without Monty the last month.
And that's horseshit. The train never runs better than with Monty.
Except for
Period.
Even score in the red zone.
I think the key to the red zone offense is David Montgomery.
I think the key to the offense is David Montgomery, period.
The key to the offense is Jared Goff.
The key to the offense is David Montgomery. Because when Jared Goff can just turn around, hand the ball off, and get into a nice rhythm, that's when that little ball fake and him come out, that little rollout, and he's got St. Brown coming across the field. You got Laporta coming across the field. These guys are fucking wide open. That is from David Montgomery.
Jahmyr Gibbs has more scrimmage yards. He's got more yards.
I don't care.
He's got more yards after contact in between the tackles.
Don't care.
And he's been more efficient. I love David Montgomery, and I think he's extremely important. But I'm telling you, the play action with Montgomery coming, I don't think it's going to make as much of a difference as you think. Cousin Steven just nailed another one here a second ago. Jonah Jackson and Ragnow being back, and Glasgow on the right side at right guard. They haven't had that setup together all year. I think that's the kicker. This is this team on both sides of the ball was built from the trenches out. No matter who was going to play quarterback, no matter who was going to play running back, they got their starting offensive line.
It's pretty obvious who the better running back is for their system, which is an in-between the tackle system. And it's pretty obvious who's the better fucking runner in between the tackles. I don't care what anybody fucking says.
Why can't you just accept that both of them are good?
Expect
we need them both.
What do you want me to accept?
We want them both to be rock solid.
Absolutely,
we need them both to be good.
But David Montgomery is the fucking engine of this team. I'm telling you. Without him, they're not the same team.
So who's the key?
Without him, you go into Baltimore and you get fucking your asshole punched.
President Baker's with you. He said Gibbs looked good against Vegas.
Whatever. President Baker don't know shit about football.
He agrees with you. Don't shit on President Baker here. You're his vice president.
I'm telling you.
He said Gibbs looks good against Vegas.
is the guy that makes the engine go.
He said Gibbs looked good against Vegas, but Bruce could look good against Vegas.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Guess what? Yeah, he looked great against Vegas. Look at Vegas, what they did this week. That just passed.
They punched an asshole or two.
Oh, they went all the way up to the elbow into the asshole. Okay?
They felt the prostate is what you're telling me.
They were giving out free prostate exams.
What do we think
Max
defensively?
Crosby.
What do we think defensively? Do we think the Lions are going to have a shot to slow down the Chargers offense? Because
that's
I actually
the key.
did like what I saw.
The key is can they get these receivers off their routes and get the timing off? And it's hard to do with a veteran like Keenan Allen, because I truly think he's a very good receiver, and it's hard to fucking cover a guy like him. he made a couple of outstanding catches in that game Monday, too.
I agree, and I'll never forget Darius Slay when he was here and they were going against the Chargers. He gave his list of the top 5 receivers he's ever gone against. He threw Kelvin Johnson on the list because he had to go against him in practice.
Right.
He didn't play against him in a game. Threw Kelvin Johnson on the list, but it was something like Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins. There was someone that I'm missing right now. The smallest guy on the list was Keenan Allen, who's not crazy small, but he goes, Keenan Allen he beats you in so many ways. His route running is flawless.
Yeah, he's 6'4"
He's
and he's
explosive
physical.
off the ball. He's physical, and healthy Keenan Allen, we're seeing it right now. It's been a bad couple years for him, but healthy Keenan Allen is by far one of the top.
I actually thought he's had a couple of years. When he had first come into the league with Phillip Rivers, he had some injury issues the first 2 years he was in the league. He missed a lot of games due to injury, but he's developed into a really nice receiver. He has.
Keenan Allen.
And I've been watching him for a decade. I'm telling you.
So
he's really developed into a nice receiver.
I'll tell you how you stop Keenan Allen. And the answer is you can't.
No.
Because you need everything, like I said, same as offense. Defensively, we're going from the trenches out. The Lions' D-line to beat the Chargers needs to have their biggest game of the year. And they've had some big games. It just hasn't shown up on the stat sheet as often as we'd like. But the
Lions have to watch out for this week coming is who's going to step up to be the number 2. That's got to be the thing.
You mean on the
they're
pass rush?
They're not going to be able to stop Keenan Allen. He's going to get his.
You mean on the pass rush or
No, and defending them, defending the Chargers. You got to find out who's going to step up. Is it going to be Quentin Johnson? Is it going to be Guyton? Is it going to be one of these guys? One of these guys are going to step up, and they got to be able to hold these guys in check.
Well, I was just going to say, Justin Herbert struggles like crazy against a pass rush. If you give him a little bit of
when
pressure,
he doesn't have Mike Williams.
if you give him a little bit of pressure, I think that's all it takes. I think, and I misinterpreted what you were saying, but I think what they need to do to win in terms of number 2, you hit the nail on the head, but not on the offensive side of the ball, not on the Charger side. I think the Lions need someone to step up on the other side of Hutchinson. I'm looking for John Kaminsky to have a big game. I'm looking for whoever it is, Charles Harris, one of the Okwaras, whoever's on the right side needs to be explosive. And that's the only way that they're going to.
The whole Detroit Lions thing, and I'm going to say this, and I know maybe a lot of people ain't going to agree with this, and some people might think it's not a good take, but I think at this point, you look at some of these guys that signed in other places. I didn't mind that Peoples-Jones thing. Didn't mind it at all. He's a big receiver. They needed something like that. But I still think at this point, I would have felt a lot better going forward to have a fucking guy here like Chase Young for a 3rd-round fucking pick as opposed to a guy like John Kaminsky.
It came out today.
It
came out today that the only other teams that were in on Chase Young were the Ravens and the Jaguars.
Okay. And those are 2 teams that will be deep into the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say. You know what? This is the fucking year. I don't want to hear, you know what? Next year we're going to put it. I don't want to hear all that shit. Your schedule's set up for you this year. Make the fucking move. Make the move. So what are you out? What are you out? If he decides not to sign here and go somewhere else, who cares? You get the fucking pick back. It's not even like it's just dumb. To me, it's fucking dumb. I think it's dumb. They had a chance to go out, get a guy, and I don't give a fuck. You know what? The rah-rah shit only goes so far with me. There's a talent issue, and if you can't add more talent to the fucking roster, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass in the end. And this is what I fucking see, because the Charles Harrises and the fucking John Kaminskis and the fucking, it's all cute and everything. It's great. They're overachievers. But you know what? They're not Chase Young. Chase Young was the 1st overall pick. Don't tell me he's not better than those guys.
Number 2 overall.
I'm sorry?
Number 2 overall. Your point.
Whatever.
It's not lost.
Whatever, dude. He was a top 2 pick. Don't tell me that there's anybody on that line for Detroit that's as good as Chase Young. And that's including fucking Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson's significantly better than Chase Young.
Yeah, he's been better because Chase Young was hurt the first 2 years.
That's part of being better.
Give me a break. He's still a fucking top dude.
if you took Chase Young's 1 year of fully playing and compared it to Aiden Hutchinson's 1 year of fully playing,
I'm not even going to go there right now. I'm going on what I see. I'm going on what my eyes see. I don't care about analytics and numbers.
The numbers don't matter.
The numbers don't matter. What I see matters.
Real quick, we've talked about it ad nauseum on what the Lions did and didn't do at the deadline, and I'm still torn because I really wanted them to bring something in, but we've used this phrase on this show before. They're just a victim of their own success right now.
Yep.
They are so far ahead on their rebuild. I'm sure they were expecting to win the division this year, but I don't think they were expecting a shot to get the number 1 seed. And I was running through a playoff simulator today. I was going through the schedule. I went week by week and added all the teams up. If the Eagles lose 2 games, the Lions are going to have a hell of a crack at getting the number 1 seed.
And the Eagles are going through a gauntlet.
And they're going through a gauntlet. So I don't think they could have predicted being where they're at right now. And I saw another excellent stat that the Lions, their window, if they do this the way they want, their window will be open for years. And their way of doing it is we want to draft our own talent. We want to develop our own talent. We want to make sure that they're our guys, and we want to sign them to our contracts. We don't want to bring in any outside sources unless they fit our culture. Like C.J. Gardner-Johnson is a great example of that. He played for Aaron Glenn, and he fit the culture of what they were trying to do here. So that's why they didn't trade for someone. And I like that. I like that approach. It's worked. But I'm with you. It would have been nice to take a run at someone to get them help right now to prevent you from being a first-round or second-round knockout. But who knows? Maybe they stay healthy. Maybe
not
these
only
guys
that, you're
develop.
taking somebody that your opponents would have taken.
Oh, I'm with you.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
We talked about it.
There's no reason why Chicago should have got a hold of Montez Sweat over Detroit.
Every
no
single
reason for
team. Well, after seeing Montez Sweat's contract this weekend, I'm pretty happy that the Lions didn't take a crack at him because that
He got fucking paid.
He got paid. He got money
Listen,
that he probably didn't deserve.
They're all going to get paid. Eventually, they're all going to get paid.
I want to highlight what you just said, though. Scratch Chicago because I don't think they're going to
Listen
be
to
a
me.
threat for a year
Romeo
or two.
Okwara was making J.J. Watt money. What's his name? When he came over from fucking New England.
The Trey Flowers deal. That
Trey
was bad.
Flowers was making J.J. Watt money
That's not this
for the
regime.
Detroit Lions and never had more than 7 sacks in a season.
That's not this
Give
regime,
me
though.
a fucking break.
That's the last regime.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was
last
Patricia.
regime.
I don't care.
No,
I
it
don't care.
matters. It matters.
That does. That was
It
Patricia.
matters. That being said, you hit the nail on the head. All of their opponents got better. We talked about it already. The Eagles got Kevin Byard. The Seahawks brought in Frank Clark and Leonard Williams. The 49ers got Chase Young. Everyone that they're battling with
How would
got
that
better.
have looked to have Leonard Williams next to?
Oh, I've been bitching about that for the
what's his
summer.
name?
I wanted Quinnen Williams. Remember that. I'm the guy that
Well,
wanted to
there's
trade
no
for
way
Quinnen
they're
Williams.
getting Quentin Williams.
They're the same player.
That was a pipe dream.
But
He's
they're
not
the same-
going anywhere.
They're the same player. They're in a contract year and they're both getting traded. Either way, one of the two. I wanted a D tackle. I wanted an elite D tackle. I'm sure they're thinking we'll get our elite D tackle in this draft. We will get one and develop them because Aleem
They had 2
McNeil.
cracks at it.
Aleem McNeil is slowly
They
evolving
had 2
into
cracks at it.
elite. They did. I agree. But Aleem McNeil is slowly evolving into one of the top tackles in the league. So
Yeah.
Like you're running out of breath over there.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
Can we?
I'm gonna have you huffing and puffing and
We're
sweating.
45 minutes in. Okay.
So
We're 45 minutes
Said
in.
Lions talk could be a whole fucking.
I'm
show.
aware. But that's why I'm going to interject. There were a lot of people asking for both of your guys' opinions on this Michigan drama, okay? And I came across something earlier that I wanted to ask Zolo about.
go ahead.
When it came down to the Harbugh drama, the Michigan drama, the NCAA, now they're investigating more schools. But the thing that I saw that I wanted to read about was supposedly it has now been discovered that Michigan running back Blake Corum and Connor Stallions own a joint LLC that is Wyoming-based, okay, to which at some point Blake Corum posted pictures with the name of the LLC hashtagged on his Instagram. And then mortgages were paid off on people's homes via this LLC that was owned by, I guess, more people, but Blake Corum and Connor Stallions were both facilitators on the LLC. And this whole thing now is starting to, there's just so many fucking layers to this onion now that I don't even know where to begin. But I want to hear what both of you guys think, and we'll go from there because I don't even know where to start.
Blake Corum came out and said my lawyers are already handling it, and he may have talked about it, but it's been confirmed that his name is actually not on the LLC, and there's no signatures or anything like that. The more we learn about Connor Stallions, the more it's just confirmed that he's just a crazy Michigan fanboy. And did you see there was a
He's
whole
sort of like
thing?
you, isn't he?
Am I the biggest Michigan fanboy you've ever met in your life?
You are.
Are you serious?
That I've met? Yes.
Have you met Bob before?
Bob is worse than Zolo.
You know what? Listen to me. None of that matters to me. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, none of what matters.
None of that matters. Go ahead. Keep going.
You always say none of that matters, but I don't know what that is.
All I said was you guys are so pro-Michigan. Listen to me.
It's my school.
The bottom line is this. What's going to happen? What is going to happen? And I stated this before. All these teams do some form of this. Everybody does. Even the SEC that hasn't had one incident
hold on.
in this whole scam shit that's going on at the Big Ten.
Hold on. Before we go on an extremely long tangent about how everybody in the SEC is a scumbag and everybody in the Big Ten's a scumbag and everybody's a bunch of fucking scumbags, let's focus in and talk about Michigan, Harbugh, and Stallions. Because if we don't do that, pretty soon we're going to be talking about how Nick Saban bought Camaros for people. So let's get in on this, and then we can go down that rabbit hole, okay?
Was it Camaros?
You go first. You go first.
I do. Go ahead.
Can I do something?
Enlighten the people on what you think.
Can I do something egregious right now?
Please.
You could say no, and I'm not going to be mad or anything like that.
Go ahead.
The one national unbiased reporter throughout this whole thing, because this is a whole other debate in itself that's come out, is how ESPN is running hit pieces. I don't think like that. I think ESPN is just reporting because Spartan fans have thought the same thing. They're not hit pieces, Michigan fans. They're just reporting on it, and they're doing their jobs. That being said, there's been a whole thing on ESPN doesn't want to talk positive about Michigan because they don't have the Big Ten anymore, and Fox guys are really pro Big Ten because they have it, and their biggest game on their slate is Michigan Ohio State. They got Michigan Penn State. Regardless, I don't want to touch that. But there's a reporter named Dan Wetzel who's been one of the premier voices for college football. He's from Yahoo Sports.
He's the one that broke the story from the beginning.
No, it's Pete Thamel from ESPN broke the story from the beginning.
I thought he was. No, I thought
someone
the guy
leaked it
from
to
Yahoo
him.
was.
No, Wetzel's had reporting. Wetzel wrote an absolutely perfect opinion piece that I would love to read on the air. I'll get through it in 3 to 5 minutes, but it's perfect.
Okay.
Can I do it?
Absolutely.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. If Uncle Sam feels that he needs to interject, what should be the code word?
What's your safe
I'm not going to
word?
say anything. Go ahead.
No, you need a safe word if you want to
Go ahead and read
interject.
it. I'll be right back.
No, you need to hear it, though. That defeats the purpose. All right,
Oh,
he's
he's
not
just
going
getting-
far.
he's getting a second Aladdin.
He's loading the barrel.
You got to go get the second Aladdin.
Put the drill in your seat next time.
It's a beer.
All right, you ready?
Go.
The Michigan sign stealing controversy has taken a new turn, and now there's other Big Ten schools that found themselves in the spotlight with the Wolverines. At Michigan, Connor Stallions allegedly ran a smash and grab sign stealing operation. Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue, meanwhile, were reportedly operating the equivalent of a criminal conspiracy. It was pure white collar stuff. In the end, they both stole or participated in the stealing of the same thing, information on opponents' play signals in an effort to secure an advantage. I'm off script right now. For those that don't know, Michigan has accused Purdue of getting signs from Rutgers and Ohio State last year that were used against them when they played each other. Ohio State and Rutgers staffs gave Purdue Michigan signs offensively and defensively before they played in the championship game last year.
I want to interject just a hair on this.
Please.
What I had read about that was these were staffers on these other teams giving information to other teams.
Yeah.
This takes it to another level.
Yeah.
This is to another level now.
This article covers that.
Correct.
This article covers that, and I'll get there.
Correct.
And I'm going to sum up the article right now. The difference is what Michigan did, what Connor Stallions did, which is a broken rule. I'm going to say it right now. I've said it before. They broke this rule.
Correct.
Whether Jim Harbaugh knew or didn't know, it doesn't matter. Because it happened. It's proven that it happened, number one. Number two, there's now a stupid fucking bylaw in the NCAA that says a head coach is the CEO of a program. So it doesn't matter if they knew or didn't know, if the coach knew or didn't know, they're still in trouble for it. I'm going to continue reading the article. In the end, they both stole or participated in the stealing of the same thing. Information on opponents' play signals in an effort to secure an advantage. It's just that one was a scheme-ass bank robbery, that would be Michigan, and the other was an inside job, clearly wiring the money to the Caribbean. That would be Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers. Forget all the noise. Forget the grandstanding coaches screaming for Jim Harbaugh's head. Forget if Michigan deserves all the scorn. Forget even what or when the punishment should be. Whatever it is, just make it even. Because the actions of Connor Stallions and the actions that Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue allegedly engaged in are the exact same thing. Yes, the exact same thing. Do you have anything to say?
Not yet. Do you need more?
No.
I can read more.
I'm gonna say this, and the NCAA already said that they found nil to tie to Harbaugh. Period. So
and again, I just want to emphasize, and you said I'm the biggest Michigan fan you know. It doesn't matter if Harbaugh knew or didn't know.
I just said the rule was broken. Do they deserve their Class 1 penalty or Class 3 penalty? Yes, they fucking deserve it. And the same with the other schools that are involved with their bullshit too.
Thank you.
Okay, but the Scallions guy, dude, Scallion, whatever his fucking name is.
I'm whatever it is. I'm calling him Scallions going forward.
Listen, I'm going to say this.
Curtis Scallion.
Rap Scallion.
I believe with what I've heard, seen, transpired, and everything else. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with scouting teams. I personally think there's nothing wrong with that. I do think taping sidelines is bullshit. And if you're going to fucking do this now, the NCAA needs to come down and say, you know what? No more.
Okay.
You guys can't do that shit anymore.
Let me finish the article because it nails something.
Go ahead.
Sam, make sure you're listening to this.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Stallion sent friends out to film the sideline signals of future Wolverines opponents. He then got the video and allegedly worked to decipher the play calls. It appears one time he even stood on Central Michigan's sideline, comically wearing what looks like spy glasses to scout Michigan State. And we can all agree that was Connor Stallions that was on Central's sidelines, right?
Yeah.
There's no debate on that.
No question. It was him.
These were blatant, brazen acts. While stealing signs isn't against NCAA rules, advanced scouting is. Stallions was clearly engaged in that. Last Friday, however, Michigan presented the Big Ten with evidence that someone on the Rutgers football staff provided Michigan's defensive signals to Purdue in advance of the Boilermakers Wolverine 2022 Big Ten title game. Meanwhile, someone at Ohio State handed over U of M's offensive signals. So in the Big Ten championship game, both teams had the other signals, both of which were gathered via advanced scouting. Michigan won 43-22. In Michigan's case, the advanced scouts were Stallions' band of iPhone-touting buddies. In Purdue's case, the advanced scouts were the professional coaching staffs of two other Big Ten teams that had just played the Wolverines and thus could battle test the signs they stole as accurate. Which would you rather have? Raw cell phone footage that still needs to be broken down or highly experienced coaches just handing over their work? Which would you rather have? The raw cell phone footage that Connor Stallions people had? Or would you rather have the highly experienced coaches just handing you the signals that's already been broken down? Which would you rather have? What's more of an advantage?
What would you rather have?
I'd rather have the coaching staffs.
Oh, the coaching staff. Listen, if you don't think all these coaches don't communicate, you're wrong.
They do.
All these guys fucking communicate with each other.
Both of you. Which would you rather have? Connor Stallions videos?
Obviously, I'd rather have the coach's opinions.
The full coach breakdown,
the full coach breakdown of the science.
Court-ready fucking book.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
You know what? It all comes down to this. It's getting stupid already. If you want to uncover every little thing that goes on in sports,
You got to watch every snap of every game over the last 5 years.
Watch the NFL.
Yeah. The article continues. Everyone would choose the Purdue option. All three of us would choose the Purdue option. Bruce, make it 100%. What? No, I'm not going to influence you. I'm not even going to look at you. What would you rather have? Would you rather have Connor Stalions' video, or would you rather have the opposing Big Ten coaching
staff
staffs?
of the opposing team giving you
Full
fucking
breakdown. The coach
breakdowns.
staff.
Yeah, it's less work you have to do. That's all for Bruce.
Even if
Bruce wants to do as less work as possible.
Even if Ohio State and Rutgers acquired Michigan signs via NCAA legal game film or during game action, it doesn't matter. Purdue didn't do that work. The Boilermakers received stolen signs from advanced scouting. They cheated as much as Michigan. Additionally, the Purdue person receiving the advanced scouting work was almost assuredly, at the very least, an assistant coach. The NCAA investigation, sources say, hasn't found any proof anyone in Ann Arbor knew how
They haven't
Stallions...
dug it up yet.
They had the investigation
They're in the
handed to
middle
them.
of digging on
No,
that.
no. This investigation was handed to them by the school that commissioned the investigation over the last year. So there's only so much more that they're going to find.
Right.
The NCAA investigation, sources say, hasn't found any proof anyone in Ann Arbor knew how Stallions got so good at deciphering signs. He apparently hid his act. So why is the NCAA aggressively investigating Michigan but not Purdue and the others? Why is the Big Ten threatening to suspend Harbugh indefinitely but doesn't seem to care about anyone else? Why is the NCAA not immediately sending investigators to Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue to find out who else received these reports? Why is the Big Ten not instantly warning future opponents of Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers that the competitive integrity of their games are in doubt considering past behavior? Why is the Big Ten contemplating how the league's nebulous sportsmanship policy applies to 3 teams conspiring against one? Good question. All we know is some still unidentified entity hired a still unidentified private investigator to uncover Stallions' antics in the hopes that the NCAA and the Big Ten would do exactly what they did, fall for the okey doke and naively overreact. Charlie Baker has been NCAA president since March. Tony Petitti, it's actually Tony Petitti, has been Big Ten commissioner since May. Neither has much experience with this stuff. Baker was a politician, Petitti mostly a television executive. They didn't know what they didn't know. Together they opened Pandora's box. Mostly they listen to football coaches who view one kind of advanced scouting as gamesmanship and another as a kind of crime. The coach's reasoning, sending around stolen signs and game plans is common practice, so they don't care. What Connor Stalions did is apparently not so common, so they did care. But who in their right mind would listen to such reasoning? Who would be so dumb to agree with it? Who would let the thieves define theft? That's what's going on here. The thieves are defining theft.
It's real simple. Move your shit back to head chick. Start wearing the radios and forget about this.
Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
Today, the NCAA passed a rule that this year during bowl season, they are allowing headsets in players' helmets.
Gee, that should have been done 10 years ago.
Football coaches,
15 years ago.
Football coaches are rarely deep thinkers. They aren't spending time contemplating law, precedent, ethics, or unintended consequences. They just want Jim Harbaugh gone. Real leadership would have known about all the advanced scouting and stolen signs pinging into email boxes across the league each week. They would have thought through the intricacies of the situation. They did know better than to, in effect, let a Wall Street fraudster say the real criminal is the subway purse snatcher. They wouldn't have served as pawns for whomever hired the private investigator. Well, too late for that, apparently. If they are going to hammer Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, so be it. I agree with that. But the same crime is still the same crime, and if anyone took a moment to do their actual job, they'd realize it. This is the same crime. This is what Purdue and Ohio State and Rutgers did is the same thing as what Michigan did. The difference is that there's a bylaw against one. Mind you, the NCAA bylaw on advanced scouting was going to be repealed. It is in there because it is an unfair competitive balance because Michigan could afford to do that. Even though this kid did it on his own and this kid funded this whole ring himself and the head coach didn't know about it, Michigan did it on its own. That's where the rule is. It's to prevent a big school from being able to do that because a small school cannot afford to do that. And again, Purdue was provided advanced scouting and signs from Michigan's offense and Michigan's defense from other entities. They didn't do it themselves. It's the same crime. And nothing has happened to Purdue, whereas Michigan is under a witch hunt because there is a bylaw. Again, what would you rather have? what Purdue's coaching staffs was provided from other schools' coaching staffs, or the grainy Connor Scallions video? What would you rather have? One has a bylaw against it. The other apparently does not. It's the same crime. So whatever happens to Michigan, better happen to the other schools. If it doesn't, it just doesn't make any sense. And Michigan's got enough ammo to fight this. They have enough lawyers to fight this. They have enough money to fight this. Why would you go down that road if you're the Big Ten?
You don't see Nick Saban doing this.
Was that irony? Was that sarcasm? What was that?
That's it. You don't see Kirby Smart doing this. SEC don't play that game. They don't play that shit.
Just some opinions from the comments here. Cousin Steven has a lot to say about this. That
Of course he does.
Well, the same thing. The blue wall is you're the green wall, Cousin Steven. I still love you. You still hit dingers. You're still my boy.
Is
Cousin
Steven the third shooter on the grassy knoll?
Yeah.
No, Cousin Steven would never kill a Kennedy.
Hey, listen, if he had to,
I would have.
If it was for the CYO,
He would.
If it was for the CYO, he
Where'd
would.
Cousin Steven go to CYO school? I thought he was from Grand Rapids.
I think the CYO champ's name. No, it doesn't predate him. I think because so CYO champs is a combo team between Thursum and DeLapp.
Thursum went to start of the season.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Chicken of the sea.
So what's
Tuna Tech. We called it Tuna Tech.
what are your thoughts here?
What are my thoughts?
Yes.
You know what? Just fuck off already with it. Because it's just stupid.
Who should fuck off?
Who should fuck off?
Yes.
The NCAA, who already said they're not going to do anything.
It's the Big Ten. It's not the NCAA.
What the fuck are
It's
we
the Big
talking
Ten.
about? Who gives a fuck with the Big Ten things? They're crooks. They're all fucking crooks.
They're getting pressured by the other coaches and the other administration.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Listen, they broke the law. Give them their fucking penalty and forget about it. Move on.
Can I say just one
Sure.
thing here
Please,
real quick?
it's your show.
This is what I see happening. I see Michigan getting penalized for this in some way, shape, or form
This year, when is the penalty?
next year. This will all come out in the offseason. I don't see anything happening this year. This will get dragged out. Like Zolo said, a lot of money will be spent to try and fucking get this shit figured out. A lot of resources, and eventually some bullshit fucking agreed upon punishment will come down, just like whatever the fuck happened with Harbugh this year.
Hold on, that wasn't agreed upon. Michigan self-imposed that to limit.
That's so
the NCAA
stupid, dude.
hasn't even
Listen.
come out with their punishment for that.
So it's like
They self-punished. He punished. You know what?
he put himself
He
in
put the little
timeout.
whip on and smacked himself with it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
So-
all
A
he
little
did.
teeny tiny
Ow,
belt.
Ow,
It was a feather.
Ow. What
Some
the
sort
fuck?
of bullshit will come out where he'll be suspended when they play Bug Tussle State and fucking East Western Texas Agricultural.
No, I hope
Tech.
it comes out next year when they actually try to play a real
No.
schedule.
Their non-conference is
Not gonna
loaded next
happen.
year. Fresno
what I hope
State,
happens.
Texas. They have one of the hardest schedules in college football next year.
It'll be a perfect punishment to where they could say, oh yeah, we did this to him, and nothing will come of it, and you will never hear anything else about Purdue or Rutgers or Ohio State and any of their wrongdoing.
Listen, Rutgers
because
just to have their name in there should be privileged.
Michigan.
If you ain't fucking cheating, you ain't winning.
That's a line. Is 9 out of 10 coaches cheat? The one that doesn't just isn't good.
Right.
I agree with that too,
Right.
100%.
If you ain't cheating, you're Rutgers.
So
Steven, they're signing him to a contract right now that's already been agreed upon in principle.
Who?
There's Harbugh. They're signing him to a
You know what?
contract
They
that's
need
going to
to
make
fuck
him the
off with
highest
giving him any
paid.
kind of a contract.
He's going to be
Why?
the highest
All
paid
this is
coach in the
done.
Big Ten.
I
All
disagree
this
with
shit
that
needs to be
wholeheartedly.
over with. Then talk about signing him to a
No,
contract.
you want to know why? You want to know why?
Why?
When you're fucking loyal and you're fucking innocent and you're gonna fucking fight, you hand them all the fucking money in the world and give the big fuck you to everybody else.
They're not innocent though.
100%.
He-
They're not
even
innocent.
even if
They're
Jim
guilty.
Hold
Harbaugh
on.
didn't break the rule, they broke a rule.
But there's multiple definitions of innocence to me, right? Innocence could be you didn't do something wrong, or innocence can be we did something wrong, but so was everybody else. If you're on the expressway doing 85 with 4 cars straight and you're all going the same speed limit, the cop pulls one of you over, were you really doing anything wrong? No. You were keeping
Yeah.
up with the flow of traffic.
Yeah, you were
keeping up
you
with
could
the flow
say you were
of
going
traffic.
with the flow of traffic.
And if the cop wants to be a dick to you, then he's just a fucking dick. It's the
Right.
same thing here.
Yeah.
Everybody
Or
was
give you a
fucking
ticket
doing
for
it.
tinted windows.
That's
I knew
it.
that was coming. I
That's
knew
it.
it was coming.
This is all Michigan's going to get for this is a window tint
Tinted
ticket.
fucking windows.
And unfortunately, they are going to be the ones who get some sort of bullshit punishment, and you're never going to hear about the rest of it. Because
And let's be honest, they're guilty of the infractions that were said. Period.
yes, but what?
They're guilty. They are guilty.
I know where you're going with this, and I want to give my final take on it
Go ahead.
because that's how I was going to end.
Go.
Michigan did this. I don't think Jim Harbaugh knew.
I don't
That's
believe
just my
that for
take.
1 minute.
I don't. It's proven he didn't know. It's
Oh.
proven that this kid did this
Proven
himself.
how? Because he said he didn't know anything.
Because they can't link it. They can't link the paper trail to the kid. They can't
Paper
link
trail.
they can't link this to the Michigan program other than Stallions. They just knew
he's friends with Jim Harbaugh's fucking son.
that
dude.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
He's friends with the whole coaching
That doesn't
staff.
mean he's blurting
Don't
to the
tell
staff.
me he didn't know.
Stop. That doesn't mean he didn't
Bullshit.
blurt to the staff. I'm sending my scouts to the games to do this because they would have shut that down instantly.
No, because I don't think he told anybody about the little fucking people that he squirts
That's the
out there.
point. That's the point. Michigan didn't know that part of it. They're still guilty. Just because of the way the laws are written, I've never denied that. This happened. And because of the way the laws are written, Jim Harbaugh is accountable. This is where I disagree. The emphasis that everyone is putting on how much of an impact this had on Michigan's games over the last 3 years is completely overstated. This is not why they have been manhandling teams and blowing them out. That is not why that is happening. I also think that even if you want to rush this for this year or whatever, go ahead, do it. Make sure that the other schools get the same punishment for doing the same thing.
That's not going to happen, though.
It's not gonna
fucked
happen,
up
bud.
about it.
It might.
It'll just.
It's not going to happen.
It's. You want to know what? Michigan has the Patriot syndrome. Michigan has the fucking Patriot syndrome.
That's it. When
Right?
you're deflating balls.
Correct. Bill Belichick lets the air out of some fucking footballs. Oh, you're going to lose your first rounder. You're going to be suspended.
Yeah,
We're going to suspend Brady.
You're,
for the first
you're
4
taping
games.
our walkthrough before the fucking game.
Uncle Sam, Dark Lumen wants to know who your Jan 6 lawyer was that got you out of all the charges.
The January 6th lawyer. Let me say this and say this well. I'm not a pussy like those guys that broke into the Capitol and
was-
throw some papers all over the floor. They should have went into an office and punched an actual congressman in the mouth and then go to fucking prison.
I think some of them-
You're going to go to prison?
They would have done that.
Do
if
it
they
the
had
fucking
the
right way.
opportunity.
Punch Nancy Pelosi in the face or punch fucking Chuck Schumer in
Can I
the
tell you
nuts.
something? Have you been to the Capitol before?
I have. No, I haven't.
It's I walked
have.
into the Capitol.
Because
2
me,
weeks
I
ago,
think it's gorgeous.
and it all made
shit,
sense.
sorry.
You could just walk right in there. Like I remember, I walked right through, and I'm like, holy shit, that's his actual office.
Let me ask
That's
you a
Steve
question.
Scalise's
Let me ask
office.
you a question. Would you have went in there and start breaking shit up and throwing shit around? I wouldn't have done
no,
that.
fuck
The
no.
fucking place is amazing.
Capitol belongs
Does
to the
anybody
people.
see the woodwork in there?
The Capitol belongs to the people. We pay for that. The White House belongs to the
Right.
people. It
Did-
doesn't belong
Did
to the
anybody
president.
see the woodwork in there?
It's
I
incredible.
would be pissed if somebody come in there and was breaking my shit. I'd be like, "Fuck you."
It is your shit.
yeah, it
let
is
me
your shit.
let me
Huh?
end real
It is
quick.
your shit.
We're off on a
It is
tangent.
your
Okay,
shit.
hold on.
Let me bring it in real quick.
real quick. And then
Michigan
we'll talk
did
about
Michigan did the crime. I never denied that from the start. That being said, the crime is really not that bad. Anyone who says it's that bad is blowing it out of proportion because everyone else is doing it. Make sure the penalty fits the crime. So if you're going to throw vacated wins, which I don't think is going to happen, coaches suspensions, I don't think that's going to get too crazy out of hand. Make sure you do it to the other coaches because they're all doing this. They all committed a crime. The difference is one isn't covered in the bylaws and one is. That's all I'm saying. I don't deny Michigan did this. It's fucking stupid, but it happened. Michigan fans don't deny it. But the competitive advantage is not as crazy as you think. Michigan was still pumping these teams, and they still lost games. So if it's that much of an advantage, they would have fared better against Georgia. They would have beat TCU,
Hold on,
et cetera,
hold
et
on.
cetera.
I heard the TCU game was the only game they didn't get, and they got their assholes punched.
No, it's the opposite of that.
No, that's what I
TCU,
heard.
no, you're behind. Since then it came
I'm
out.
behind?
Since then it came out that TCU did know that, and what TCU did is they fake changed all their signals, but they didn't change their signals, and it threw off Michigan's staff. That's the latest article on that. So TCU did know.
I don't believe that at all.
It's the same people who are
Connor
reporting.
Stallions dropped the ball. Connor Stallions dropped the ball. It's his fault they got blown out.
Where's Kevin? Where the fuck is weird Kevin?
Hello.
We need to get Kevin into the chat. I want to hear Kevin's opinion.
Kevin doesn't watch football.
Yeah,
Who's Kevin?
But if we
Kevin is a Hillary Clinton.
when they started talking about January 6th,
Hillary
it would
Clinton,
have been all about.
fucking, what's the other? Bernie Sanders fan.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Anyways,
Hello.
I think it's going to be interesting to see because I really think that out of all of this, again, everybody's doing 85 and you're just the fucker that got pulled over. Like it
is what it is.
Patriot syndrome. It's the
They
Belichick
need to
syndrome.
move on already. It's
Exactly.
an
When you're at the top, they gun
overblown,
for you.
overblown, over fucking done story.
Can I ask you two a question real quick before we move on? These next three teams that Michigan's played, including the previous two, Michigan State and Purdue, who've always known, these next three teams that Michigan play know that apparently Michigan stole their signs. If Michigan blows them out, do you think it will have anything to do with the stolen signs and a competitive advantage over the next 3 weeks? Or if Michigan wins, I won't say blow them out because I think they're going to struggle this weekend. I think they could easily lose to Ohio State on paper. No, the answer is no.
No, I don't think so.
Do you think any of these past wins have anything to do? Not anything, because I can't deny that there's a little bit of whatever gamesmanship on stolen signs, but the other team knew their signs too.
Yes, but the thing is, if everyone's doing it, if everyone is doing it, there's really no advantage.
Thank you.
That's what's fucked up about it. So yes, were they wrong? Okay, great. Did they break a bylaw? Okay, great. But everybody's fucking doing it anyways.
And it comes down to what would you rather have, grainy iPhone footage of sidelines, or would you rather have advanced scouting from coaches who get paid to do it, who are on staff? What would you rather have?
Give me the experts. If you're gonna break the rules, you might as well break the rules with the experts.
That's not blue wall, by the way. That's just fact. You would rather have that. And everyone's doing it. That's been my argument from the start. I believe Michigan did this. I just believe it's so small in the grand scheme of things. And because it's Michigan football, because it's Jim Harbugh, who's pissed every single, other than his peers and other than people who he's worked for and people who have worked for him, he's pissed everyone off from the start. Because it's Michigan football, that's why this has gone as far as it has.
Amen. Amen. Uncle Sam, do you have anything to add? Do you have a rebuttal here?
Horseshit.
Okay. Should we talk about tomorrow night's game?
Please.
Just, there ain't much there. We're going to make this a quick 2-3 minute, and then we are going to let you guys go have a beautiful Wednesday night dinner. The Chicago Bears are hosting the Carolina Panthers at Soldier Field. We have a 1-7 team versus a 2-7 team, both sitting dead last respectively in their divisions. It's going to be a Titty Badgett versus Bryce Young showdown. The whole thing is,
for the sake of the conversation, let's call him Booby Young. So we have
Booby Young.
So we have Titty versus
Titty Badgett and Booby Young.
Titty versus Booby.
So they activated Khalil Herbert today. We don't know if he's going to play yet. From what it looks like, they activated him, but they probably are not going to play him. So we're going to get the Donta Foreman show again.
I know you hate hearing this.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I think the Bears have lacked success over the last couple weeks is because I think Roschon Johnson was always the best running back on that roster, and they just don't use him.
Yeah, they don't use him.
They just don't know what they're doing with him. He was running so well in that Commanders game that they ended up winning. Mm-hmm. And they just haven't really gone. He got injured. He had a concussion. He was out 2 weeks. They just haven't really done anything since.
And as far as the running game goes for Carolina, they don't have one. So, I mean, you get the Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders split, and it's kind of gross. What do we think happens here? The line is Chicago right now. It's favored by 3.5. The over-under is 38.5. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
He hasn't been paying attention.
Is that true?
I'm going to take Chicago in this.
To cover.
I'm taking them to win.
And cover.
Yes.
The Chicago's a favorite. I don't know if you heard that. They're 3.5
I'm
points.
taking Chicago.
Okay, over-under 38.5.
Over.
Over?
I think they're going to put the points up.
Over?
I'm going to go over as well.
Woo!
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I got a good reason why.
Poop defense versus poop defense?
I just think on short weeks, these defenses are just not going to be prepared.
That's also, I mean, fuck.
They're
I agree.
And it's the
Incompetent staff.
It's the same as
incompetent
Chicago
everything.
versus Washington a couple weeks ago. One of the reasons I think the Commanders' defense folded as bad as it did is because they just weren't prepared. And I think that that's going to be the case. And I kind of we talked about it the other day. I love what Titty did on Sunday against the Saints. And I'm looking for a solid Titty performance at home because that guy's playing for his job. And I think Bryce Young needs to bounce back after whatever debacle that was last week against the Colts.
100%. Yeah.
I am also taking the Bears at home. This is a win-win for the Bears because if they win, then pick 2 stays pick 2. Eberflus looks good for a second and gets to keep his job further. It really doesn't do that much damage to pick 3. Can you pull up the standings right now to see what a win does to pick 3 for the Bears when you get a chance?
1,000%. I'll look it up right now.
And I just like these offenses on short weeks, and I don't like these defenses on short weeks. We got to remember, the Panthers' offense it's serviceable. It moves the ball. It's just moving the ball kind of in garbage time snaps.
Okay, so right now, Carolina still holds the 2 pick, and Chicago holds the 3rd pick.
Mm-hmm.
So if Chicago wins, they would jump to 3 and 7, which would put their personal pick at 6.
Okay.
And it would move Carolina and Arizona would both be 1 and 8.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who would take it then.
They need to beat Carolina because they have a better shot at pick 2 becoming pick 1, if that makes any sense.
100%.
Than their pick becoming pick 1.
Right.
And I think Eberflus has always been coaching for his job. He's been coaching for his job every week. Obviously, Titty's playing tomorrow, not Justin Fields, but we've talked about how Justin Fields needs to have a big second half of the year in order to keep his job. And I just think that there's so much. It goes around the draft picks. It revolves around the draft picks. And I think that they just need to have a big game. So I'm going with Chicago. Who's favored?
Chicago is a 3.5 point favorite.
I think they cover that, and I like the over.
I think that Chicago covers that. And you want to know what?
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
You gonna take Carolina?
No, I'm taking Chicago to cover,
okay.
Chicago to win. Listen to me, I really don't think Carolina wins another game this year. And I'll be honest, if it wasn't Chicago playing Carolina, I don't think Chicago's going to win too many more games this year. I'm debating on this over-under because if you get a titty badge at fucking 3 interception game again, which I don't think they're going to do because I think they're going to run the piss out of the ball, and I think whoever's playing running back, hopefully Donta.
Titty put up 17 last week. Keep that in mind.
That is, I know. See that? I'm torn.
That's half of your number right there.
Yes, but is Bryce Young going to be able to?
I think they'll be able to score.
You know what? I'm going to go over.
I don't think Chicago's defense is that
why I
good.
don't
I know.
I just don't think their defense is that good.
I know.
And Bryce Young, how many times have we seen Adam Thielen already carve up Bears D? That's all he needs is another guy to step in. And I think this could be not necessarily a coming out party for Bryce Young, but this is going to be one of the games that he thrives in. That's just my 2 cents.
I see Foreman wants to get back at his old team, man, and just pound the shit out.
Well, if Khalil Herbert,
Sorry?
you know what? Khalil Herbert's not going to play. From the looks of things on Twitter, Khalil Herbert's not going to play. So you're right. I think it's going to be the Donta show. Do we have anything else that we need to discuss, break down, add?
Hello?
We're still on the fucking show here.
Guess what? Chicken butt. No, what's up?
That's Kev. That's weird, Kevin.
Who the fuck is Weird Kevin?
That's weird, Kevin.
Is he a school shooter?
You remember the night?
No, but it wouldn't shock me.
That's that's prime school shooter behaviors. If you find out he's the school shooter, it's like, oh, I wasn't shocked.
Not coming to work because you knew I was right.
Okay. Anyways,
Where was he working in that?
Checkers. President
He
Baker.
works at Checkers.
Yeah, I know.
And the Checkers is
Him
in
and
Joy
David.
Road
David
Park.
works at
Checkers
Checkers
in the
too,
Joy
because
Road
they threw
parking
David
lot.
out.
David?
David.
What happened to
works at
David?
Checkers. Well, he was living in the dumpster behind the dollar store, and he had some issues. And
Big David?
They had to let David go. Yes.
No.
So David and Kevin both work at Checkers together.
Shout out Big Dave. Shout out to Kevin.
Oh.
Love you.
David was a good guy.
Yeah.
Did he get back on the
David's a good guy with the bad habit.
Anyways, that's not good. Okay, also, one other thing that I just want to touch on real quick. Earlier, Leon came in the comments and said, R.I.P. Pat. Did Pat die?
Yes, Pat passed away. He had cancer.
No
And,
shit.
All right,
yes.
Pat.
And he
When did Pat
Love you,
die?
big dog. Rest
He
easy.
died like a year and a half ago.
Who's
almost
Pat?
2
So
years
why
ago.
is he coming in here now? I thought Pat died like today.
No,
This guy
Pat
used to
passed
the
away. I
wall
told you
at
that.
Joy
I
Road.
told you that Pat passed away.
Oh.
The wall.
You
R.I.P.
just don't
Pat,
remember.
Is he the bouncer?
Yeah. No, he used to put grocery items on the wall.
He did grocery aisle.
I don't know.
Pat did
store
grocery
things.
aisle and chain smoked cigarettes constantly.
Leanne said that he died at the Redford Inn,
I don't know.
the trailer park.
Yeah, he's still at the park.
Fuck. R.I.P.
I don't-
R.I.P.
They,
Pat.
they
R.I.P.
bury you
Pat.
where you stand at the Redford Inn?
I guess so, yeah.
R.I.P. Pat. R.I.P. Leon.
Anyways, anything to add?
You guys need to read my picks on Friday.
You guys
Yeah,
make
we're
sure
gonna
you.
We're gonna.
I don't like where college football's headed right now, and I hope they get this NIL shit under control and all this bullshit and this just they got to be in the spotlight with everything, and a lot of it's not good publicity for it, and they need to stop it. They're going to ruin a really good sport that I personally enjoy. I used to love watching college football more than pro football, and now it's just getting as crooked as the NFL is, and I hope they get it together and go the straight and narrow and start doing the right thing here, because it's going to destroy college football.
Tuck coming. Zolo, anything to add?
No. If anyone's going to LA, let me know. I'll be there on Sunday.
Bruce, do you have anything somewhat productive to add?
Asshole punches.
Excuse me?
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. Bruce actually needs to make some fucking reels this week, so why don't you go follow to see if he does. If not, we'll fire him live on air on Monday. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe. Join us in the chat. Have a good rest of your week. We'll be back Friday. Unfortunately, Zolo Willis with the picks.
I got no juice. What the fuck?